What's up with you guys? It is your boy West Coast. So, yo, man, this is my recap of preseason game number 1, first game of the season for the Dallas Cowboys. Did not get the win, but you guys already know preseason games are not about team production. They are about individual development and player development, seeing where you can see where guys are supposed to be when they're put in certain spots and seeing if they can perform. All right, so let's get it. All right, so first off, the foremost, defense was on point all night. Created some turnovers. Shout out to the safety, Mr. Thomas, who was able to get that interception out number 30 right out the gate. He also had a fairly good game, man. He also had a very smart play at the end of the game when the wide receiver caught the big pass, but he was smart enough to touch him because he understood that the wide receiver could get up and take off running. Real quick, speaking of wide receivers, Devontae Turpin, a.k.a. kickoff return guy, did not have the best game of a preseason game. It looked like he had a little jitters, had a fumble, had another miscue. But one thing about him, he is a pro bowler, so we would like to think that next week when we have our next preseason game, he'd be able to get it together and bounce back. But he didn't have the best outing, I would say, for his first week. Dayron Bland, Dallas Cowboy corner, got a little start this week, and he actually played a little bit. Hey, man, my guy played really, really well. Did really well against defending Calvin Ridley. Calvin Ridley was probably the best receiver that played in the game, and freaking Dayron Bland was on his butt. So shout out to 2-6 for doing his job. 35, man. I'm gonna tell you this. 35, Demari Orshawn. I'm gonna tell you this right now. He is going to have a different number because 35 is not a number that's gonna sell. But I promise you, his jersey's gonna sell. So they're gonna give him some number that's gonna sell because that young man's gonna play this year, bro. LVE, all these other linebackers that we've been not so hyped up on and have not been kind of not excited to see. I'm gonna tell you this right now. Overshawn, he brings that linebacker hype and that linebacker smack back to the Dallas Cowboys, man. And I absolutely love the way this young man plays. He's a guy that is going to forget fighting for playing time. He's a dude that's gonna play. I can almost predict that he will probably play this next preseason game, and then he's gonna be done for the rest of the preseason until the regular season's gone. All right. Next. Jalen Tolbert, man. Jalen Tolbert, wide receiver number 18, bro. He had himself a nice day, man. He had himself a nice day. Got himself a TD. I know a lot of people gave up on Jalen Tolbert, but I'm going to tell you, he's a friend of the show. He came on our show. And I'm going to tell you this right now. Jalen Tolbert looked like the receiver that he described himself as. He described himself as a high-point receiver, a guy who can go up and get the ball and do different things like that. And the Dallas Cowboys didn't really use him like that last year. But I'm going to tell you this right now. They did use him that way yesterday, and he was very, very successful. Had some really nice catches, and he had a really nice block on one of Deuce Vaughn's runs. So salute to him, and I'm gonna tell you this right now, salute to him on getting himself in that end zone. It's always good when you can see guys getting themselves in the end zone. So salute to him, a huge confidence builder. And I'm gonna tell you this right now, man. Jalen Tolbert is definitely trying to solidify himself as the number 4 receiver, and possibly even number 3 behind Brandon Cooks, man. All right, so let's go over a couple of guys that also play good. ASAP Ferg, I'm going to tell you this right now, and number 87, he's a starting tight end for the Dallas Cowboys. I know people are going to be like, West Coast, I told you about Ferguson. Yeah, but imagine having Ferguson and Schultz. Bruh, that's all I'm saying. You got one gun, why not have 2? That's all I'm saying. You feel me? Shout out to Slam Williams, who had a tackle for a loss, almost slammed the young man. I felt like he was about to go slam this dude, and he thought about what West Coast said. Man, you can't be slamming grown-ass men. They mama going to come out and try to fight you. And then he was like, I ain't going to do it to the preseason game, and then he let him make it. You know what I'm saying? So shout out to Slam Williams for having himself a good game. I'm going to tell you this, who had another good game. Who also had a good game? Kelvin Joseph had himself a good game, too. Kelvin Joseph had himself a good game. Salute to Kelvin Joseph. Had a really good job and had a really good job on a pass breakup. Solid technique. You could tell he's been working on his technique, and it showed. So salute to him. Who else we had on here? My boy Scott, number 37, was kind of getting cooked low-key. But he's a rookie, so we're going to give him an opportunity to make it up. Shout out to Dante Fowler, had himself a good game. My boy, number 41, Bell, also played well. I like that because, man, our safeties play a lot of times in the box, so they have an opportunity to get dinged up. So it was good to see my safety, number 41, come in and fill in. Will Greer looked good running the ball. I'm going to be honest with you, both backup quarterbacks look Will Greer got the most of the snaps, so I would think most people would say he looked better. Offense looked better, but he also had more snaps to look better. I was never valuing for him to be the backup quarterback. I think he still moves more like Dak Prescott, but right now Cooper Rush is the backup quarterback. Can Will Greer take the job? I think he could in a little bit better outing next week. We'll see what's up though. Shout out to Simi Fahoku and Dennis Houston. Dennis Houston had a whole half that was just all about him. Like they in third quarter they gave that boy the ball almost 4 times in a row. So salute to Dennis Houston. Also salute to Deuce Vaughn, man, who absolutely just balled, man. Absolutely balled, man. A lot of people said he was too small. I ain't even gonna lie. I was one of those people that said he was too small to pass block. But I also said that I felt like if he ever had the opportunity to get into the backfield and actually get one-on-one with some of these guys, he was going to do exactly what he did, and that was make some dudes look dumb. And that's what Deuce Vaughn did. He absolutely made people look dumb, averaging 6.5 yards per carry yesterday. It was ridiculous, man. Just ridiculous. Shout out to my boy Neville Gallimore. Had 2 good stops. Also, shout out, I already mentioned Demarion Overshawn, but, man, the dude forced 2 fourth downs by himself. He stopped two third downs. He stopped by himself, forced by himself. Sick. Shout out to John Stevenson's tight end / wide receiver. I'm gonna be honest with you, John. I've been at training camp 7-8 days. I've never heard of you before, but I know who you are. And guess what? That's how life is sometimes. So salute to you for taking advantage of your opportunity. I feel like I'm forgetting somebody. Will Greer got him. Got Dennis Houston. Hey, man, shout out to the coaching staff. For the most part, man, I think the coaching staff did a good job, man. Play calling was pretty consistent. There was nothing there was no points in the game where I was like, oh, my God, what are they doing? You know what I'm saying? I know it's a preseason game. They're not going to be very open and just showing everything. But be honest with you, the Dallas Cowboys, for the most part, and what I feel, played well in a preseason game. And I saw individuals step up and make plays that I needed to make, guys. Lastly and not least, offensive line did not look good, bro. It is what it is, bro. We can say what we want to say, but the offensive line did not look good. It did not look good. From the left to the right, didn't look good, man. Did not look good. Cowboys switched it up. They switched out different players. They did different things. It did not look good. It sucks, too, because, the guy that's supposed to be replacing Zach Martin technically is on this offensive line. You know what I'm saying? So, who's to say? But I will tell you this. We need some improvement on the offensive line. Other than that, man, I was really impressed in what I saw, and I'm looking forward to see what the Cowboys do this next week. You guys already know what it is. Never look down because stars